So what I would like to ask is, Eugene, if you don't mind, have you got one of the articles that we went through this today? That is, one is about big data. The first one with the band, the bands, right? Are you able to open that from your side and share the screen? Have you opened that? If not, I can open it. Yeah, okay, let me unmute you. Yes, Eugene. Yeah, we can see a screen. Go ahead. So quite a lot of information that we can get from these wristbands. So basically, they get the approval from the users themselves. First, they have power over this that what data they want to share with Disney, and they're able to by participating in this program, they get some good benefits as well, isn't it? Yep. So Disney is able to. So what are the other things that they can do? We'll go to the next one. I think here it says what are the other benefits of this wristband. So this is a nice sentence which is stated here. The whole system gave Disney a way of understanding the business and also actually getting to know the users individually. One of the lines, I don't know whether you saw it, it said, they had sold over 9 million units, right? So imagine the amount of data that these guys have about their participants, right? Who the visitors who come here. And And there is something else that they track, because they know where the crowds are gathering. So when they see there's quite a lot of people in one particular area, what they will do is mobilize their food stations there, right? So which is quite strategic in the sense they are able to sell more food items by just moving these carts, or the mobile vans where the crowds are. So this is also a very, very good way of actually improving the revenue. And I guess it's a psychological thing that you don't feel as if you're spending money. But actually you are. But this wristband is linked to your credit card, so you really don't have to use physical money in this case. Again, very, very crafty thing that they've done, because you feel as if everything is free, but not so. When you come from the park and you finish your holiday, you suddenly realize, well, oops, I've spent about $5,000 there individually, so that's not funny, right? But at that time you really don't feel this. So what I want to find out is, Eugene, do you have anything else to add? Sorry, you're breaking up, Eugene. Eugene, you're breaking up. Say it again. Yeah, correct. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so what I want to get from some other participants here is, let me call upon somebody. Akram, you're able to talk to us? Now, that's fine. You got the gist of it, right? So you got the gist of it. High level, what are they doing? They've got wristbands, right? They're using the wristbands to collect the people's movements, to understand and to get information on where the crowds are spending the money, where they're if they're using the rides multiple times, which rides are they using, where are they located, all these things, right? Now, how can we use this into Dream Park? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Offering. Yeah. 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 Very good. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So what you're saying is actually something really important you said there, because they have offers for like groups and corporates and things like that. So you can actually, once you put out a promotion out there, you can check whether actually these things are how effective the promotion is, isn't it? Because you, through this, whether these guys have come in, how their behavior is, etc. So that's great. So you said you didn't read this. Wow, your imagination is working very well. Yes, whatever, but it's very good. Yeah, right. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. Right. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So this big data. Before we go into the next article, um, do you think it's a easy thing to do? Is it expensive? Is it complex? What do you think? Mm-hmm. 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 Right. So have you worked in any kind of IT project? Have you been involved? Right. Mm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. So customizations and things like that. Yeah. So what you're saying is now, it is highly likely we may get a question, and there has been in the past as well, that it is an investment. So the pros and cons of this investment, how to go about it. So you will have to answer that in the normal way of an investment. We will do a question on that as well today. Yeah. Yes, correct. Yes. Mm. Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So it's an interesting observation that we will come to the third article. From that, you can. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to put you on mute. And Eugene, if I come back to you, and let's go to the next article that we spoke about. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Very creative, Puneet. That's great. Yeah. So why not, isn't it? Why not? Because then you're encouraging repeat visits, as well as you become an affiliate. Yeah. So Eugene, if you can go through this article, please. Yeah. Eugene. Right. Sorry, you're breaking up. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. And how did they do this whole thing, this project? Because just below there is a little bit on how they went about with this gigantic project. I think a little bit below. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So I'll stop you there for a second before we proceed. Um, Let me get Kimani. Can you hear me? So let me get someone else to talk to me. Kimani, are you able to talk? Right. If Russell, okay, go on. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by the ticket price? Okay, what you're saying is, in our case study they are not given. Right. So it may come as unseen data, right? So that's something that may come through. So if Kirmani is not available, can I have Russell to talk to us, please? Russell, yeah? Russell, can you hear me? Right. If Russell is not, well, Russell can hear, but he cannot talk. So, Tanzina, are you able to talk to us? Because what I want to do is, in these sessions, you need not really go and read this the article, because we'll finish off everything. So I want some interaction from some of the participants. Vinod, are you able to talk? Vinod? I think, Vinod, are you able to talk? Okay, there's a lot of disturbance. I'm going to mute you. Tarun, are you able to talk to us? Yeah? Okay, good. So what I want to find out, Tarun, is now they talk about open source tools. What does this mean? Okay. Anyone else who understands what open source tools is, even if you can't talk, you can put it in the chat box. Yeah, can hear you. Mm-hmm. Right. Anyone can use it, and it's free for use, right? There's no license linked to it. Yeah. 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 Correct. Yes. Now, why do you think they use that first? Yeah, because yeah. So this is kind of very good. Russell says it's a pilot. Yeah, it's a pilot program. They might start off really small, and they will say, right, let's go ahead and start to build this, and let us not spend huge amounts of money at the start, right? Because they want to see whether the thinking is right. Because as you can see, it's a huge amount of cost, 800 million. So even if we have to do it, it's going to be a massive cost. Okay, and the biggest thing here is for us not only putting the data there, but then understanding how the data needs to be structured and what sort of information do we need, right? So these things your IT person is not going to do, that the vendor is not going to do. He may give you some kind of guidance, but it is up to you, who you need to kind of come up with creative ways of using the data and finding out what can you do with data, right? Like I think Akram mentioned different things. Puneet mentioned another couple of things as well. What you can do. So which is great. Anything else, Eugene, that you can talk about? Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Correct. Yeah. Yes. So it's something like, it's you're prototyping, correct? You're prototyping and seeing what the end result is going to be like, and you're looking at, well, am I getting the results that I'm looking for, or will it work for me? And would are we there, are we mature enough? And sometimes the organization is not there, in the sense the skill set is not available. Now if it's not available, it's not advantageous, and I mean it's not advisable for us to even embark on a project like that. So then we need to identify, yes, I don't have the skill set and I need to get some skill sets from outside, right? That also comes through during this time. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Eugene, anything else from you? Yes. Yes. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct. Now, I want someone else to talk about, this is a big change management. How would you go about this change management? Mm-hmm. 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 Correct. And that's what we were saying, that you need experts in-house as well. So the skills need to be there, right? If you do not have those skills, you need to identify and say, well, within our teams, do we have these skill sets? If we don't, we need to recruit, or employ them in a consulting basis or something like that, because otherwise this project is not going to go well. Yeah. So I want someone else than the other people. Tarun, if you're able to talk to us about the change management, what do you think? How did you think they went about it? We've got 60,000 people. Yeah. Yes. Correct. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Now that sounds pretty easy process. What sort of challenges do you think that they will face? Why is that? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, you need to have some change champions as well, isn't it? Because as you say, there will be resistance for various reasons. One of the key ones would be, thinking I'm going to lose my job. They're automating everything, so what's going to happen to me? That's one of the first things that'll pop up in everyone's mind. And 60,000 staff, it's not a small amount of people. And also, you need to use, again, technology maybe to train them, right? And because you will have lots of people that you need to train. So it's not going to be feasible for you to do face-to-face training, right? And people will be in different parts of the world as well. So how do you carry out that training in different locations? How do you manage that? So in this case, again, online training, recorded training might be a possibility, right? Any other thoughts on this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question. And also because it's like an ROI on ERP, right? So the thing is, if once you spend 800 million dollars on something like this, you also now the information that they're getting is is of great importance. Now you can have loads of data, but then I think Akram said, very valid point, how there has to be people, we have to have people who will analyze that data as well. Analyzing data is another activity. What about actioning? What do you do with that data, right? Because all the time we may have data, I mean, we are surrounded with data, right? But do we really action, right? So if they go on actioning these things and then checking the benefits, there will definitely be benefits that they could see. Now, to your question, I think what you're asking is, before I invest 800 million, tell me what my ROI is before I give you that, right? So yeah, and to that I would say you could actually state, maybe at a very high level, these are the things that I can do, right? Because imagine now what they did with the data is they looked at where the people are moving around and then deployed the trucks. I don't think they came up with those information requiring doing that type of thing when they initially started the project, right? So most of the time you need some very creative people to see patterns, right? And actually the computer also can give you all these patterns, and to ask the right questions and then act on it and do things that will generate money. Okay, because you can have a lot of information and do nothing with it, right? So like for example, now look at the dream park, right? How do we capture our data? We have been operating from 1962. Do we have information of our customers, our repeat customers, our basic CRM? Do we have that, right? But of course we know from our tickets, right? that we have served so many millions from 1962 to now. Others we've not been able to operate. But we really have not utilized that information. And actually, there is a saying where it says, knowledge is not its potential power till you execute. Right? So it's something like that, where yes, you have the knowledge, but what did you do with it? Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Correct. Yes. Yeah, sure. So what do you know about Netflix? Blockbuster. It's yeah. Because Blockbuster was the first company that was there, and Netflix just took over, right? And they went and did lots, completely. They gave an offering which was amazing, right? So they built that platform, and they were able to offer that, right? Again, they use a lot of big data, right? And there you go, where they say it started as an American DVD, yeah, DVD by Mall Service in 1998 and began streaming in 2007. Yeah, so the information that we have is, I mean, if you look at banks, hospitals, right, and airlines, we have a lot of supermarkets. We have information about passengers, about people, about the masses. So all what we're trying to do is to give them, instead of our generic product, something that is very much linked to you as a person, right? And give promotions to you and make it individualistic rather than a generic one. Any other? So Russell has written, possible another way of measuring ROI is through viewing the increase per customer spend. Clearly, if the band has made it easier for customers to spend, we should see an increase per customer spend, right? Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think so, right? I mean, look at how many years has passed. It's not like the whole thing happened within 4 decades or 3 decades, right? It's very short time span. And the thing is, a lot of these technologies, I mean, another question that was asked in another class was, what about the tools that they use, right? So one of the things, when we are going into selection of vendors, or spending this huge amount of money, we should be cognizant that this investment may last about 5-6 years maximum. Why do I say that? Any feedback? Why do I say that? Correct. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Yes, so you need to be quite careful when you are doing this kind of investments to keep in mind this is not something for life. Even if you spend 800 million, it's not going to last you 15 years. You're lucky if it lasts 6 years, right? Because of the rapid change in technology. Yeah. So investment in technology is a very tricky one. ROI is a very, very difficult subject in this case, but then you may have to look at companies who are using, if you're not a trailblazer basically, and someone else has done it, like Disney in this case, so there's definite ROI in this case. So therefore, based on a case study, we say, right, let us go into this, let us invest, because someone else has done it, and I'm sure that we will also have a positive result. However, having said that, just because one company did it does not mean another company will be successful. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the thing is, you're right. The approach of Disney was very, very different, and the way they went about it in small scale, and the support that they would have got from the senior management, as well as the expertise skills that they had in the business would be good. The partnerships and the IT people that they work with would have been exceptional. So you need to have that right combination as a company, right? So if you just say, well, X did it, so I'm gonna do it, but I don't have that combination, the right mix, I'm not gonna be successful. So that's the reason why you see companies who are successful in implementing ERP, but there are other companies who are disastrous with implementing ERP. Nothing wrong with the product, of course. It's everything wrong with the human beings, right? Unfortunately. So the product will work beautifully. It's just the human beings, right? So we will go to very quickly to another article. So thanks a lot, Eugene. I'm just gonna take over, and I'm gonna take you to another article because it's important for us. Right, again, this is on Disney, right? Let me share the screen with you. Okay, can you guys see it well? Right. Have you read what's going on in Disney, the acquisitions, right? So you can see they are taking over. They've got, if you read this, scan this article, you can see Disney is into so many things, right? It's not only theme parks. They got what? They got the movies, and they've got hotels, right? And various other things, many brands, okay? And now, one of the key things that they're talking about is Disney's advantage lies in its storytelling ability and the strength and number of its brands, right? Time Warner Brothers has DC Comics, Comcast Universal Pictures has a strong animation arm, but Disney has unparalleled scale. Okay, so what does this paragraph tell us about companies in this amusement parks, this kind of industry? What does it say? What's the message that is sent out? So I may need to call people now if you don't. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Yes, the merchandise, right? Correct. Yes. Yeah. Okay, you can see the big draws when it, yeah, go on. Movies, yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Right. So, what's the moral of the story? Yes, the moral of the story is don't take kids. Yes, yeah, yeah, correct. Right, yeah, okay, right. Now, how many characters do we have? Sorry, say it again, please. Yes, and the other part is when you go into the park, who else is there? You get loads of other kids, right? And you see them, or your kid sees all the other kids having all these kind of characters and things like that. And whether they like it or not, whether they want it or, they immediately want it, right? Just because someone else. Exactly, right? So the people who have kids, I guess they know what it is like. Or if you remember your small days, you remember what a tyrant you would have been, right? um, well, now what about coming to our case study? How many characters do we have? How many brands do we have? How many what do we have? That's it. And who else? Okay, and who else? What else have we got? And we have one character. Yeah, the yes, just one character, one lonely guy standing there trying to be the hero, but no one else. Yeah. So, and we have been, Akram, to Akram's point, we have been operating from 1962. So have we been under a rock? What have we been doing? Right? Good question. So, and the guys, what about the people who are running the company? Are they still there? Right? Are they serving as executive, non-executive directors? And where are they? So this is an interesting thought. And here again, you can see they talk about the movies, right? So, Eugene, anything here that you thought was an interesting comment or observation? Eugene? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So that is that's kind of bringing new things all the time, and different characters, different, because the thing is they have got movies, right? They have gone into movies big time, right? I'm just trying to see where they say, let me see that, where they talk about Disney, where they have gone into movies, and this is an area where people, the companies, don't want to get into because there is a lot of risk, right? But they have been very fortunate, and they said, right, we don't see the risk, or this is the way we're gonna mitigate it. But the advantages of getting into it were much greater than the risk, right? So, and here it says, I'm just reading it to see where they talk about this. It's not, but it's somewhere here in the article. So what about Dream Park? What do you think we should be doing here? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So how did they do? Right. Okay. So what did they get into first? Do you know? Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. So the person who mentioned about Frozen, now, does anybody know about this Frozen company, or this? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right. So what we're saying is, actually, this getting into the movie business is quite lucrative, and it could help us now. But it's not as if we can get into the movie business because we are full of debt. We don't. I mean, movie business, that doesn't come cheap, right? So that's gonna spend. We have to spend a lot of money, and we don't have that experience. So if we want to do something like that, get into the movies, what would we have to do? Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Yeah. Yeah, very good. So it's kind of a win-win situation, right? Because otherwise, why would they partner with us? For what reason? right? So it's just that we have got a good brand, we have been there for a long time, and we are spread out, so we can in different parts of the world, and we can also promote this movie and actually increase their revenues in many different ways than just them producing something, right? So that's the kind of idea. Now let me close this. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, it's like what, for example? Correct. It's a long term, yes, you're right. It's a long term partnership that you don't just get into one movie with this party, because you'll have to have that partnership cemented, and work with a partner who will be there with you for much more than 5 years, 10 years, right? But we are getting into this the first year, so it will be, I mean, we have been operating, like you guys said, from 1962, but we have not taken the opportunity to get into the movies, right? So this is a big step for us, and so there might be very good reasons why we have not done it before. Even now, even though we see that there are advantages, but the board may think differently, right? So that might be one of the other things that you may have to be conscious of. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct, right? And that goes with your negotiating power with these guys, and also working with them and actually laying out your roadmap and saying how you can actually work with this partner and it can benefit both parties, right? So it really, I mean, many a time you could see like startups or even smaller companies working with big giants, but however, how did they convince those big giants to work with them, right? Clearly, in our case, we are not a small company, we have a good reputation, I mean, we have a lot of strengths, right? And therefore we can actually go ahead with those. And remember, we're starting in Asia, right? So it's not necessary that you need, yeah, so it's not necessary that you need to hook up with a Hollywood big name, right? You can actually go and work with that Asian, the film industry, someone over there, because either if you're opening up in China or even India, all those places, actually India might be more difficult than Hollywood because Indians are far advanced in the movie making, right? And if it's China or anywhere else, right, they will have their own characters, and you're linking with their culture as well, so you can just open up that side, and that might be more conducive rather than trying to start off with the West. Yeah. Any other ideas, any other comments? Correct. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How would Dream Park? Yes, that's another option. But how would they go about it? Because I really don't have the money, right? Now I can't go and invest heavily in a hotel. How would you do that? Mm-hmm. 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 So what you're saying is either a share issue, right? Because we can't go into debt anymore. We've already, over our heads with the debt, so that's not possible. And maybe a share issue. What about again a partnership? Yes, and also I think Russell mentioned the same thing. He said, yeah, get into, right? So say could get someone to build and lease a hotel, tie up with an operator, yeah, and you bring your that theme park expertise into that hotel and designing of it, right? So you got a hotel owner, you have an operator, and yourself you're bringing in that theme park creativity into the hotel, okay? Because the operator will work in a different way. Their thinking is very different to that of this the theme park creativity. So it's again something that you can work with, something that you may not have to spend huge amount of money, because you're working with strategic partners, right? So each one will have its merits and demerits, but hey, we can work with that as well, right? So again, Russell says Disney has hit upon a magic formula. Its movies and theme parks feed on each other. Very, very good point. The movie creates content for the theme parks, and the theme parks perpetuate the magic and makes customers want to return to the movies. Yeah, this is kind of a great way of not a vicious cycle, but it is a magical cycle, I would say. That's the way they operate. Yeah. So what I would do is now go to where we stopped last time. So I would like to start here saying food and merchandise. So again, we know started off with merchandise, and you guys also mentioned quite a bit on different types of merchandise as well. Now here, the problem that we will face is the supplier code of conduct, whether it's food or merchandise, anything, right? The supplier plays a significant role. And in what sense will the supplier play a significant role is how they work do they work as a good corporate citizen? What about the products that they manufacture? What about the raw material? Okay, so gone are the days where you can disassociate yourself from a certain things that happen, like you're saying, well, I don't know the supplier, well, I just bought the product, I didn't go to investigate, or the supplier supplier subcontractor is giving, so you say, right, I don't know anything about it. No way can you do that. Now, since you are the ultimate, the final consumer of the product, you should be aware of where this product is sourced from and how it has been sourced. You are accountable as well. So if you have a very good a code of conduct for suppliers, that's a very good thing. And you will see in most of our sustainability reports and the CSR, this comes out very clearly, and it's also applicable to our ethics. Now, if you purchase something from a supplier who uses child labor, is it ethical or is it unethical, or is it also illegal? Well, it's not illegal because you're not the one, who is doing the act. You're just consuming it, right? But it is unethical, right? Because it is you who need to be quite strict. So these are some of the questions that may arise in this case, whether it's food and merchandise. Now, if you face an issue with the food and merchandise, and you find out, well, you have the code of conduct, everything is there, you're quite careful, but then suddenly you hear that one of your suppliers has been caught out on something, and you're also now going to get linked to this bad story. What would you do in this situation? How will you react? Any comments? Mm-hmm. 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 Right, right. But how? Yeah, yeah, sure. Go ahead, Santosh. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, exactly. Correct, correct. Now you have given the subcontract to someone else to run the canteen, right? So obviously they have not complied with the code of conduct because they have, hired people without the proper visa. So will you get penalized in some way? Indirectly, no, because the government is not going to penalize you, but the guys who are operating the canteen, right? Correct. Exactly. Yes, yes. So when you're talking, because you see, there is this contract thing that they have put up there in your pre-scene. So they don't do things like that for fun, right? There's something that's there that's going to be there in one of your variants for sure, right? So like you said, Santosh, I mean, when you're negotiating a contract, the supply code of conduct, how do you exit the contract in the event something like this happens, should be very clearly stated, right? Because the repercussions would be, I mean, quite a lot, right? Because you terminate the contract, if that clause is not there, the supplier will come back to you and say, well, sorry, right, this was not there. Well, this problem, the operational problem, is our issue, but your contract with me never stated that, right? Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of things with this food and merchandise that can come true. Then the marketing part of it, to what markets do we target, right? What is our target market is also quite important. And then you can focus and target to that particular market. Yeah. What is the form of advertising that you can use? Nowadays social media is used extensively, right? So we can use innovative forms of advertising for any occasions, right? Then we look at this particular one where they sent out this there's 1.3 million views, right? And this was in Disney Paris. They advertised, they had this YouTube clip, and this is giving ideas to people to say, why not take your partner, why not take and surprise them, so people watching it can say, oh yeah, I can do that, so it's giving them ideas and saying, this is what you can do, right? So it's not only for kids, right? What makes up a theme park? Basically, a theme park is a magical place. And how do you achieve magic, right? It's a lot of design, a lot of lighting, right? And the whole ambience of it, right? You create that. Somebody needs to create that. A group of people will need to create that. And then they imagine this and they said, this is what we want to do, right? So if you remember, when we were kids, we play house or play whatever it is when you're kids, and everything is in our imagination, and we use little small things to create houses or whatever it is, right? And so this is somewhat like that. So design phase is a very, very creative process, but then you have to go into the engineers to make it practical, right? The engineers might say, what were you on when you're designing this? This is something we can't even imagine to build. But this is where you need engineers and production people who will go beyond the possibility, right? If you've seen the building in Singapore, the Marine Bay, right? And if you look at the YouTube clips on these mega structures, right? They always build something which they have never ever tried. So it is the design and then the engineers playing up to that design and coming up with something amazing, right? Then you have that production people, and most of the time what happens is when it comes to theme parks, they have to create these things in pieces, then bring it and assemble it. Even in the assembly, we have specialist people who will assemble it for you. So, and these are, if you look at the engineering companies, the assemble people, these are people that are very specialist in the industry, and so you have to have a very good relationship with them and work with them, right? You got to tell them this is your future, and this is what you want to be doing in the future as well. Okay. So of course there has to be marketing. Without marketing, nothing kind of moves. Then recruitment of talent, training, and the show itself. Now the last three are really important. This is where all the theme park really, really comes to life, right? It's the people. Yeah. Tarun is saying competitive advantage of Dream Park. What is it? What do you think? What type of, how are we being competitive? Because the question you ask is quite a loaded question, actually. Mm-hmm. 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 Right, but one of the things in all what you guys have stated is this company has been operating a good brand, right? And we've not had yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. So if you were an analyst in this theme park, this entertainment business in an amusement park, theme parks, and how does people like the companies like Disney, Merlin, how they operate, and how have we been operating, right? What do you think the future of Dream Park is going to be like? Any ideas? Yes, they should have been. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what do you think in the future? Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. Someone has a different opinion? Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, and yeah, that's what Russell also has saying. It might be a target for acquisition, right? But what you're saying, I mean, in your case, Akram, what are you saying? The key thing in this case? Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So you're saying, well, one camp is saying, well, there is it is a target for takeover, and what you're saying is, well, they can still stand strong if they have those good partnerships going on, right? So otherwise, I mean, really, where they have started in a time when the theme parks were just coming on, but really they have not been aggressive, they've not adapted, and I don't think they have like moved fast enough. So, well, let us see. This is a little bit about chance, right? And this is one of the assembling companies. So just this is from their website, just to state what they are like. It seems like they really reach out to their customers, and they say these are the this is what we do for you, which is really good. They show that trust, right? Because you need to be able to trust these people, you need to be able to work with them, because your whole reputation is based on the rights and the safety of it, right? So we spoke about other revenue generators, right? Merchandise catering, of course. Then you look at the staff skills, what type of skills some of our is do we need, right? They really need to the right attendees, the engineers, medical and security. These are some of the key staff that need to be there, and the training, the continued planning, when with regard to business continuity plans are important, and the BCPs are important. Plus, it's not just a matter of doing it and putting it somewhere and keeping it in the drawer, or somewhere in a file, right? But actually communicating it with the team, and also carrying out simulations, right? Okay, now we've got a question for you. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes for you to draft an answer plan for this, right? So I'll come back to you in 10 minutes. Let's begin. Fine. So can you guys, one person, start sharing your screen with us and share what your answer is, if you don't mind? Yes, Puneet, thanks. Right. Okay. So what you're saying is, you're saying, well, it's a good thing. However, it's important how we communicate this idea to the union head. Okay. Employees in confidence, as they might feel guilty. Okay. We need to take this issue very positively and as an opportunity for future expansion. Fine. So I'm not going to critique this right now. I want to see some other answers as well. Okay. Yes, please. Yes. One second, Akram. Are you able to share it? You just wrote it down in. Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you. Russell, have you got anything that you want to share with us? Right. Sorry, I think Russell can't talk. Sorry. Um, yeah, Russell, you've typed your comments. The market has to be evaluated. So Vinod says the market has to be evaluated before setting the hike or incentive. Setting the KPI is clear yardstick to reward eligible employees. Okay, okay, he's talking about. Right, Salahuddin, are you able to talk? Because you've written some good points. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Okay. So some of anyone else who wants to talk to this before we go ahead. Eugene, what about you? How would you approach this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Because you got to be very careful since you're dealing with a lot of people, right? You can't actually give 10 people something and forget about the rest of the 80 people. Yeah. I'm just making comparison. Imagine yourself when if you know one of your colleagues is given some bonuses or pay rises and nobody spoke to you anything about it, right? How would you feel? Right, your performance, how would you react? However professional you are, it doesn't matter, right? However senior you are, it doesn't matter. This is normal human tendencies. Yeah. Tarun, anything from you? Mm-hmm. Did you write down anything, Tarun? Right. So, one of the things, guys, the reason I'm getting you to do this is because I want you to train yourself to do an answer plan within a very short period of time, because this is what you'll have to do at the exam. Okay. Now, by using, you can see some people have used models, right? The reason they should use it is because it'll actually help you to structure your answer. Right now, for example, in this case, you have used because some people have used the Mandelow's matrix, some people have used the balanced scorecard, right? The smart objects, how do you evaluate? That's important as well. So by using those models, it's easy for you to structure your answer very quickly, and so that you will not miss any points. And so when I'm looking for an answer plan, I don't want sentences, very good paragraphs, going into paragraphs and things like that. I'm just looking for bullet points to see, are you able to capture the essence of this answer, right? In some answers we saw they have kind of they're able to capture it. The others, it's a work in progress, but it's good. Yeah, we have not even finished half of our classes, so by the end of it you have some time. Your exams are towards the end of May, so you need to polish your answers and how you approach it. The more you do, the better it is for you. Okay, anything else? Yeah. Right now, one other thing, let me share my screen with you. Sorry, Tarun, I cut you off. If you can continue. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Okay. 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 Then let's move to the next one. Right. There is something wrong somewhere here. Let me see what it is. Yeah. Okay. right. Supplier power is quite high. They're all quite large companies, right? And one of the things to bear in mind is most of these big suppliers, as in the ones that provide us these rides, they're based in Europe, so you need to consider the forex exposure as well. Okay, and the supplier power is, like I said, is quite high. So in a situation like this, you have to reach out to the supplier and build that relationship and make the supplier part of your roadmap and have a kind of work together as one team. It will not be possible for you to, if you just have a transactional relationship, it's not going to work. So it has to be a very seamless relationship that you have with your supplier, right? And then we go into technology. Now technology is alive, as well as it can at times put us in hot water, right? So you know what it is like, you have these platforms, right, where you're able to, before you even go on a trip, you go into the TripAdvisor and then you find out what other people are saying about things, and see, what, if you're going to a particular country, what are the top 10 things that you should be doing, what are some of the hidden gems that are there that you can explore. And this certainly helped me in trying to organize trips, because I'm not the best organizer of trips, but the TripAdvisor certainly helped me. And it gives you options and tells you, it gives you advice on, if you book these in advance, these are the advantages. Like, for example, if you're going to the Eiffel Tower, you book online a couple of things, and you don't have to wait in the queue. Otherwise you have to wait in the queue to go up the Eiffel Tower, and that's a long queue, right? So that's not something that you'll enjoy, just standing and waiting in a queue. Any experiences, positive or negative, that anyone had using these forums, and how helpful it has been? So this morning, I had a student who explained how his company uses TripAdvisor, and actually, what they do is when the guest comes in, checks in, they immediately give him or her that link, and it's also displayed on the TV, as well as it's sent to your smartphone, and which says, right, here's a link, and asks 3 questions. How was your check-in experience, and 2 other basic 2 questions, which is very easy. You just select a yes or no, or just select a drop down, and then they get the response immediately. So what he was saying is, his company, they do not wait till the guest leaves and then respond to a comment, right? I have had experiences when they don't even respond to the comment, and these are very well-known hotels. Okay, so they use the TripAdvisor platform itself. So there you go. You don't have to invest in technology. Use the existing platform. And the trick here is, you actually ask the guest, you initiate those questions and say, can you please tell me how you experienced our service, right? And tell us if there's something amiss. And this is quite an important thing. Any experiences that you guys have faced? Yeah. Anyone? Okay, so the last question that we're going to do for the evening is on technology investment, right? I want you to look at this, and this is the cost is 25 million, right? And the finance director is looking at two options. This is an IT investment, okay? And I want you to do an answer plan. I really want you to type this into the computer that you're using, right? In a Word format or in a PowerPoint, doesn't really matter, but ensure it's just point form. These are the things I'm going to be covering, right? So if you can start doing that, please, right away, that'll be great. This is the last question. Hi, so we're back again. I want someone to share the screen with me and go through these answers. Thanks, Puneet. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, if you want to go through your answer and explain the logic that you used. Yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very good point. Very good. Excellent. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Thank you. And it's a good approach that you've done. You know, the point forms. It's easy now. When you have to just go on writing the full answer, it's easy to just copy and paste this and move it there, and you have the kind of structure in mind. What about others? Anyone else? Tarun? So I want someone else to share the screen with the class as well. Yeah, thank you. If you can increase the size of the fonts, please. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Very good point. Yeah. Yeah. And the action plan? Mm-hmm. 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 So yeah, that's good. 1 second, someone else has written. Yeah. Yes, Russell. Great. Yeah. Are you able to talk to us, Russell, or you? It's not possible. Yes. So let's read his the options: tailor-made and therefore be tweaked for specific requirements. Option 1, advantages: lower ongoing running costs, can create IP in the future, control over customer data. Okay, because your customized thing, you're using it. What are the disadvantages? High upfront costs, therefore high risk. Give high gearing could be a problem. Yeah, recruitment and specialist IT staff, which maybe we don't have them right now. Learning curve, very good point, steep learning curve. So the advantages in option 2: lower upfront cost, off the shelf, could leverage on existing software knowledge and capabilities. We could use the software to leverage on the existing customer base as well. Disadvantages: protection of our customer data, integration, and no control over future development. Start with option 2. And upon learning from the system and understanding our requirements and what works better, consider migrating to our own system, option 1, if feasible. So some really good points, and I really like the way Russell has typed a lot within this 10 minutes, I should say. So the typing skills are fantastic. So that's another skill that we have to acquire. Right, we have to type against time. Now, one of the other things that you need to be aware of is they have given us a full-fledged, financial analysis. Now, when they give something like that, you need to provide a little bit of analysis on that as well. Okay, because it's clearly stated, that NPV calculation is there, because when you're actually doing advantages or disadvantages. So I'm just moving out from there and going to my screen. Right. So when they give something like this, right, your option 1, even though you see a 26 million negative NPV, this can even be further, right? Can be more than the 26 million. Because why am I saying it can be more? Look at your IT staff, right? The cost that they have is far less than it's less than this what the outsourced provider is going to do, right? So how can you have this 400,000, right? So when you look at that, I quickly think, well, this is a forecast. Even the forecast, the figures may not be right, okay? As a result, I would tend to say, well, the 26 million, it might be much more than the 26 million. So that's one point that you have to talk about, definitely, because if they give you financials, some of the statements, comparing the NPV and things like that, you need to comment on it, okay? Otherwise, they can take marks off you. And now another thing is you're looking at I think what Russell, one of the things, he's provided a recommendation there, which is quite good. Again, you're looking at option number 2 because your initial outlay is pretty less compared to the first one, as well as the reason here we can get the change management, we can cope easily, right? We're bringing in something new. The CRM thing is very new to us, right? So again, change management plays a role. So in this case, it is tried, tested, so it's a system that works everywhere else, and now the first thing what we need to do is to see how our people are able to cope with this, right? This system, the information that they will put in. So for that reason, I would say go with Russell saying, yeah, the recommendation is pretty good, because you're saying use it for some years. And I think another student mentioned, well, your I think you need to mute your mics, please. Yeah, otherwise I can hear myself. So the other thing that you need to consider is the technology gets obsolete pretty fast, right? So if you spend a lot of money, within the next 2 to 3 years, you might get something else, right? So if you spend huge amount of money, you may not get that return on investment, because something brand new will come in, which will give you so much of insight or so much advantages, and you might want to shift there. So I would say, when I'm recommending, I would recommend personally the option 2. Now others also had questions saying, well, what about the data, data security and things like that. Of course, we have to check that, right? So these are some of the things that you need to see. If they're software as a service, if they're providing, then looking at are they hosting it in their on the cloud, or if it's the data security. You don't have to talk about cloud computing and all that kind of thing quite a lot. All what you have to bear in mind is you need to think about the security aspects of it and see, these are concerns that you need to address, right? However, your outsourced provider may have much better data security and disaster recovery policies than you, because he's got many clients, right? So we also need to check his credentials now, because here it says evaluate the impact of having an outsourced IT system in Dream Park. So the credentials of this person needs to be evaluated as well, and then also looking at, well, the possibility of moving maybe to another system or an updated version, and look at how the update is of our current system, right? I would not go into developing new things because in-house, because a question that you may have to ask is, are we a technology company or are we in amusement park industry? Is that what is our core business? Because nowadays it's more and more companies are moving away from having this army of IT people in their organization. It's more you give it to the specialist to carry it out, and you basically reduce your reliance on the in-house IT people. And you can see that if you look at big companies like Microsoft offering you a lot of services where you can pay as you go, right? It is very cost effective. You got the best of the best, managing stuff for you. So there's a lot of flexibility involved. You can scale up and down as you want. So these are important things to consider. So that's it for today, right?